When most people hear about China in the news, the headlines are usually the same: politics, economics, trade wars, or maybe something about censorship and human rights issues in Xinjiang. Rarely do we get to see the country's softer, more human side, the side that makes people fall in love with it when they visit. The truth is, China isn't just about skyscrapers in Shanghai or crowded streets in Beijing. There's a deeper beauty, one that the media hardly ever talks about. Let's take a journey into that hidden side of China, through its landscapes, culture, towns, people, and modern achievements. Stunning landscapes far beyond the cities. When people imagine China, the picture that often comes to mind is smoggy skylines or endless factories. That's what the news keeps showing us, right? But step outside the cities, and China looks more like a scene from a fantasy film. Take Zhangjiajie, for example. If the name doesn't ring a bell, think of the floating mountains in James Cameron's Avatar. Yes, those surreal peaks were inspired by Zhangjiajie's sandstone pillars. Standing there, surrounded by misty cliffs, rising hundreds of meters into the sky, you almost expect a dragon to swoop past. Then there's Fenghuang in Gansu province, where sand dunes stretch like golden oceans. You can ride a camel across the desert, just like Silk Road traders did centuries ago. Compare that to the way the media usually portrays China: industrial zones, pollution, endless concrete. The irony is, while reporters might talk about gray skies, many parts of China are bluer and greener than most European postcards. And let's not forget the Zhangjiajie rice terraces in Guangxi province. These terraces, carved into mountains by hand, look like giant staircases reaching into the sky. Imagine farming on a staircase. That's basically what the locals do. Not only are they stunning to look at, but they're also a symbol of human perseverance, a partnership between people and nature that goes back hundreds of years. The truth is, China's landscapes are as diverse as an entire continent. Snow-capped mountains in Tibet, tropical beaches in Hainan, lush bamboo forests in Sichuan, it's all there. But the media rarely bothers to show it. Living traditions and colorful festivals. If you've ever seen Chinese culture through Hollywood's eyes, you might think it's all kung fu and fortune cookies. The reality is much richer. One of the most beautiful traditions is the Dragon Boat Festival. Every summer, rivers across China come alive with long, narrow boats carved into the shape of dragons, rowed in perfect rhythm. Crowds cheer from the riverbanks, and families eat sticky rice dumplings wrapped in bamboo leaves. Compare this to a Western boat race. Let's be honest, watching a bunch of dragon-shaped boats racing to the beat of drums is way more exciting than a few rowers in Lycra shouting, "Stroke!" Then there's the Lantern Festival, when entire cities glow with red lanterns hanging from every corner, illuminating the night like floating stars. Children carry lanterns shaped like animals or flowers, and fireworks crackle overhead. It's a festival that combines art, family, and storytelling, something much deeper than just lighting a firecracker. Tea ceremonies are another part of daily life that outsiders rarely see. In China, tea isn't just a drink, it's a philosophy. A simple cup of oolong or green tea represents patience, respect, and balance. Compare that to the Western coffee-to-go culture, where people rush down the street juggling lattes like they're holding Olympic torches. In China, tea forces you to slow down, to appreciate the small details. And don't forget calligraphy, where writing becomes art. Each brushstroke carries intention, meaning, and centuries of history. It's ironic that while Western media often portrays China as modern but soulless, you can still find people in parks spending hours perfecting a single Chinese character with a giant brush dipped in water on the pavement. These traditions prove that while the world races forward, China has managed to keep one foot in its past, and that's part of its beauty. Hidden towns, that time forgot. Let's be honest. When people think of China's cities, they imagine glass towers and neon signs. But tucked away in valleys and along rivers are ancient towns that feel like stepping into another era. Take Fenghuang Ancient Town in Hunan Province. Wooden houses built on stilts line the river, red lanterns dangle from rooftops, and little stone bridges connect narrow alleys. At night, the whole place glows under lantern light, as if time decided to pause there a few centuries ago. Or look at Lijiang in Yunnan province. With its cobblestone streets, canals, and bridges, it feels like Venice had a baby with the Chinese mountains. The Naxi people, who live there, still play traditional music on instruments that look like they belong in a museum, except they're part of daily life. These towns stand in stark contrast to the China image most foreigners see on TV. Instead of chaos and pollution, you find peace, history, and a sense of continuity. And ironically, while Western media loves to praise quaint little European villages, they rarely mention China's versions, which are equally, if not more, enchanting. The warmth and hospitality of locals. Here's a truth the media never tells. China isn't just skyscrapers and politics, it's people. And the people are often some of the warmest you'll ever meet. Travelers frequently share stories of being helped by strangers, someone walking them to the right bus stop, offering food, or even inviting them home for dinner. Try getting that in New York or London, where asking for directions might earn you a suspicious glance or a shrug. In rural areas especially, hospitality is part of the culture. A farmer might insist you join them for tea or a meal, even if you've just met. And in cities, locals are often excited to practice English, eager to share their culture. The irony is that while international news focuses on China versus the world, the average Chinese person isn't thinking about geopolitics. They're thinking about their family, their community, and making a stranger feel welcome. And isn't that what really matters when you travel? Modern wonders that leave you in awe. Now let's talk about something the media sometimes shows, but usually with a negative spin: China's modern achievements. Take Shenzhen. In just 40 years, it transformed from a fishing village into a futuristic metropolis with more skyscrapers than New York. Today, it's the Silicon Valley of hardware, where startups design everything from drones to smartphones. Then there's China's high-speed rail network, over 45,000 kilometers of tracks, connecting cities at speeds of up to 350 kilometers per hour. Imagine going from New York to Washington in under an hour. Americans can't because it doesn't exist there. Yet in China, such travel is routine. Eco-friendly projects are also reshaping the country. Cities are adopting sponge city designs to absorb rainwater, while vertical forests rise from skyscrapers covered in greenery. China is also leading in solar and wind power, building more renewable energy capacity than the rest of the world combined. It's ironic. While Western commentators love to joke about made in China being cheap or low quality, the same West is now scrambling to catch up in electric vehicles, renewable energy, and digital payments. In China, cash is practically extinct. Even street vendors accept QR codes. Try buying a hot dog with a QR code in New York and see what happens. These modern achievements show that China isn't just living in the past or chasing the West. It's carving its own path, blending tradition with innovation. And this is the side of China they never show you. China doesn't beg for attention, it simply carries on. Its beauty isn't hidden, it's just ignored. You'll find it in the rhythm of dragon boats racing down rivers, in lanterns glowing brighter than neon, and in bullet trains that make Western rail systems look like antiques. One moment you're standing on a stone bridge in a village that feels frozen in the Ming Dynasty. The next you're scanning a QR code to pay for noodles faster than most Americans can swipe a credit card. And yet, if you relied only on international headlines, you'd think China is nothing but smog, factories, and politics. The irony is almost comical. Reporters fly into Beijing, never leave the hotel district, and then tell the world they've seen China. Meanwhile, entire worlds of breathtaking landscapes, living traditions, and human warmth remain invisible. Not because they don't exist, but because they don't fit the story that sells. Maybe that's the real beauty the media never shows. A country too complex, too contradictory, and frankly, too interesting to be crammed into a single headline. Now, what do you think? Do you agree with this video? Tell us what you think by leaving your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.